Hi guys, welcome back to Geeks Wargaming. Had a bit of a delivery today, quite excited about it. So I thought I'd do a bit of a unboxing and sort of a first impressions type of video. I can already hear you saying, but Robin, we've already seen the ogre and the troll and the skaven. So yeah, you have. But what you haven't seen is what I got under here. So I picked up the Gobbos and the Skaven because I want to do the Underworld team. So yeah, you've seen all those, so we're not going to bother with those. But you haven't seen these guys, the new Gobbos. So I literally have just taken the cellophane from the edge. I haven't opened these myself, so this is something that we're experiencing together. So I wasn't really, to be honest with you, I wasn't really bothered with goblins because they're a tier 3 team. They're not that great, but they're really fun to play. And I saw these and the sculpts are really, really funky. So I thought, yeah, I could get on board with this just for a bit of fun. They look like they'd be quite enjoyable to paint as well. So I thought, yeah, I'll pick those up. And then when Games Workshop sort of dropped the rules for Underworld as well, I kind of thought, well, why not? There we go, so pretty standard stuff. Transfer sheet, and then Gobbos themselves. Let's see how we can get this open. Bases, don't need to see those. Okay, so it looks like we've got 4 sprues in total. 2 identical, so let's bring this one up first. So there's obviously your coin to flip, a couple of extra balls. There's a deflated one, there's one with dynamite in, there's also one with a goblin wedged in it. I don't think that's on this. Here's your turn counter or re-rolls or whatever you want to use that for. Really nice sculpts. I think there's actually extra heads, so I'm really hoping there is, because my plan is to kind of multi-purpose these guys. So I want to do have my goblin team, but then I can put it straight into the Underworld team with the Skaven. So I'm hoping that with my goblin team, the plan is I'm obviously going to have all the special weapons and a couple of trolls, so I don't actually need all 12 goblins that you get in the box set. I think it's 12. Yeah, 12. So I'll probably only need 9. So I'm planning on converting a couple up with extra heads, because Underworld you can get mutations on a normal roll, so obviously that's going to be quite likely. And there's nothing more fun than stunty dodge goblins with 2 heads. They dodge all round the pitch, so yeah, they're really fun. So anyway, that's the first sprue, and here is the second sprue. I'll put that one down because they're both the same. Ah, there you go. There's the goblin there wedged in the ball. White Dwarf have released some rules for the racial balls. So yeah, look forward to seeing the rules for these. That'd be quite funny if he suddenly activates and sort of runs away from the ball carrier. That could be quite amusing in a game. Obviously, if you're the goblin player, not if you're the other guy. But yeah, they just look like a really fun team to play. Which leads me on to the next thing. So I picked up Death Zone Season 2. So this is just an expansion from the first Death Zone, so obviously the league play and everything like that, but it's added in extra teams and some extra star players. So there we go, we've got the Dwarf star player with the bazooka. I'm not sure if they got the price right on him. He seems a bit cheap, but I guess he is only in for 1 drive and he's a dwarf with a gun, basically, so not that useful. So maybe it is right. But there are some really cool. I hope that this star player actually looks like him, because this is the beefiest Skaven that you'll ever see. So he looks pretty good. He can play for Skaven, can play for Underworld, Block, Claw, Grab, Juggernaut, and Stand Firm. And look at that stat line. He's a bit slow for a Skaven, but he can pack a punch, and armor value 8. He can stick around for a fight. This one's hilarious. I had to take a bit of a second look at this. So, okay, you look at that and you go, strength 7. He's a ball and chain. He's like the Goblin Looney, but he's armor value 9. He's got prehensile tail, so people struggle to get away from him, and he's got a mighty blow built in, so he's going to be devastating. And at 130 gold pieces, why wouldn't you take him? So I'm really hoping that Forge World bring some of these guys out. This is the Dark Elf Assassin. We've seen him from previous generations. Nothing has changed there. Here's 2 new star players. I like these sort of combos. They started it with Grack and Cranberry, but these are 2 Pro Elf players. So one is a bit of a blitzer, and the other one is probably the best thrower in the game. Agility 5, accurate, nerves of steel, pass, and safe throw. He can basically throw the length of the range ruler on a 2-up? 3-up maybe for the furthest. Even if he's standing in somebody's tackle zone, because he's got nerves of steel. So, and you can't intercept it off him either, because he's got safe throw. So, he's going to be insane. Absolutely insane. Yeah, I'd love to see what they play like, but I think they're going to be really good. I mean, obviously they're quite expensive, but that's Morgan Forg. What would you take on your team? Morgan Forg or those 2? I'd probably take those 2 on an elf team. High Elf getting a new star player as well. Super fast guy, movement 8, sprint, sure feet. So yeah, there's your sort of 1-turn touchdown guy. So he's pretty good. New Wood Elf player. Not a tree man. Do they call them the Dryads or something like that? I don't know. I don't know my fantasy lore that much, but it doesn't look particularly good. But a little bit of extra strength on a Wood Elf team is never a bad thing. So strength 4, dauntless as well, sidestep, thick skull, armor value 8. So he's going to be hanging around. I'm not sure how useful he'd be in a game though. I think this is the replacement for Zara the Slayer, Cara Von Kill. Stat lines are I think she's pretty much the same stat line as Zara, apart from she hasn't got daggers. So maybe we'll see Zara, but she just seems to fit that same role. Then we've got the crazy chainsaw guy that will play for humans, Amazons, Chaos Renegade, Norse, and Vampire. So if Forge World don't release a model for him, I'll have to convert one. Should be pretty easy to do. Looks like he's obviously got the armor set of just a normal human lineman, then a gnarled head, and then yeah, some kind of chainsword. Looks like a 40k piece there, so that should be quite easy to convert, hopefully. So I might do that. Ripper Bolgrot. We've seen Ripper Bolgrot before. Pretty standard stuff there. Scrapper Sawhead. I'm not sure if he's got the pogo, because I'm not sure if that's supposed to be Scrapper, because he's got very long legs, which Scrapper has to represent the pogo. But if you look at that picture, it might just be the perspective, but to me, it looks like he's got quite long legs for a goblin. So maybe if Forge World release him, we might see him like that. This one's interesting. I think it's actually going to be a Squig star player. Break, tackle, claw, leap, very long legs, agility 3, strength 4, movement 6, wild animal as well. Could be quite useful, especially on a goblin or underworld team. Like the look of him. New optional rules for league play, so now we can hire a star player and keep them. However, there is this table at the top, which is upkeep charges. So after each match, you have to basically pay them to keep in the team. Various degrees of upkeep, depending on how expensive the player is. So you probably couldn't stick one in from your first game, because you're unlikely to have like a 30k treasury from your first game. But I like the idea of that. That's pretty good. Sometimes that'll be pretty useful. Also got sponsors. Sponsors do various things. Insurance sponsor. I think that's basically so if one of your players die. I haven't actually read it, to be honest. But I think if one of your players dies, you can recover some money back or something like that, which will be helpful in league play. So lots of various things. There's lots of different things with different pitches, different types of surfaces. Might be good for exhibition play, but I think for league play it gets a little bit complicated. I haven't read it all the way through this yet, but as you can see, there's lots of new additional rules. There's some additional staff as well that I've just flicked to. So there's one guy here, this guy on the left. Try and get the shine off the page. 80 gold pieces basically buys you a fireball wizard. He's not quite as accurate as a normal wizard, but you know, he's half the price nearly, so still pretty good. I like this one. Carrie, the cheerleader, she counts as 3 cheerleaders, but if your team goes below 11, you can actually field her. And she's got a stat line there. So she's Dauntless, Block, Frenzy. Not a bad stat line, to be fair, with a Dauntless. She could still do some work for you. There's also Goblin assistant coach, counts as 3 assistant coaches. Gives some extra rules. I won't go into all of them because obviously I think I'd get in trouble for that. But yeah, this book is well worth picking up if you're into your Blood Bowl. Additional teams. We've got obviously the Goblins, 2 additional players in there, Doom Diver and Hooligan. Hooligan might be quite good. At first glance I thought he'd be a bit rubbish, but actually he's 30k more than a standard Goblin, but he comes with 2 additional skills. So that's, you know, 2 additional skills is 20k a piece, so he's actually quite cheap if you put it into perspective. Disturbing presence, so he's going to mess up any throwing games if you position him right, and the fan favourite, he gives you +1 fame on rolls, so that's quite good. The Doom Diver though, this is the guy. This is the guy that you want to take. He makes throw teammate a thing. So let's just try and get to that. Okay, so Swoop is the ability that he gets, and it basically says when you throw a teammate, instead of using the scatter template, you use the throw-in one, and the coach that's throwing the player chooses which direction that scatter template sits. So if you're throwing the player down pitch, you'd position your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so you know that your player is actually going to land that way. Each time you scatter, you can choose which direction you want that template to be, so you can really sort of position the guy, and he sort of glides, and because he's gliding, he doesn't hit the ground as hard, so he gets +1 to his sure feet roll. The right stuff skill. So that makes throw teammate a lot more viable. So I think Goblins seem to have got a bit of buff in this edition, so I'm quite looking forward to playing with those. Everything else pretty much the same. They've cleared up some of the wording from Death Zone 1, particularly with the piling on stuff. They've just made that a little bit more clear. But yeah, that's it. So as I said, just a quick first impressions and a bit of a showcase of some bits and bobs which I'm going to be working on. So that's it. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments, guys. Remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already done so, and we'll see you in the next one.